We're back. This time we're going to be taking a look at the Sherman Firefly, another British tanks from Gal Force 9. They really need a bigger name to that. Anyway, hop right in and take a look. Love these easy to open blisters that they have, by the way. And there we have our Sherman Firefly. It's actually a Sherman 5 used by the British. There's your basic assembly instructions, exact same ones for the Sherman. As far as that goes, not much has changed. So your turret options here look like a Firefly. I think that's a 75mm. Could be wrong. And a Sherman with a small gun. I'm not even positive what that one is. Everybody's going to yell at me. But you have those two options. But again, as I said, you only get one lower turret, so you can't build both. You can only use one or the other, which is kind of disappointing. I wish you could have both and interchange them like you could with the other tanks. Then we have our alternate for the 3A, 3B. Here's that front armor. One has the machine gun, one does not. And there's a look at your final Sherman 5 or Firefly. So our first spruce here, we got the same upper hull and lower hull that was in the American Sherman, which makes sense because the Firefly here is actually a Sherman 5. We have a pin for our turret as well as a gun mounting and a portal. Over two machine guns there. As well as, I think that's a 75, might be a 76, and then the gun from the Firefly there. Have our little hull-mounted machine gun there. The one thing I was really disappointed with in this model kit is that we have one turret bottom piece, but two uppers. They didn't give you both of the bottoms like they do with the normal Shermans, so you can't build both turrets, which just seems silly to me. You have your front armor there, and of course another hatch there. So they give you the weapons and they give you the hull plating here in the front for two different variants of the tank, but you can only build one. Unlike the Shermans where you could build both turrets and swap them out depending on which you were using. We got some various bits here, some extra gun mounts there. I think these are stowage crates. That's a piece of the rear armor. Got some extra tracks to put on. There's our actual tracks. Spare wheel, fuel tank. We got our two alternate front hulls. I'm actually looking at them at an angle, that's why. I was trying to figure out why they looked weird. There were two alternate front hulls here. This one has the machine gun mount. This one does not. That's pretty much it on those. For our tanks, again, I think both of these were in the starter set, as with most of these, but there's our Sherman 5. Decent stats across, a little soft in the armor department. Has that semi-indirect fire rule that all British tanks do. Not a bad tank. For the points, you can't beat it. 15 points, God, you could swarm these things and it would be absolutely disgusting. For a little points more, for 21, you get the Firefly, which is a bit more impressive of a tank. Slightly more powerful gun, bit more armor. Still has that indirect fire rule. And I think both of those cards came in the starter set, so of course you can check them out ahead of time. For our upgrades, we get a unique crewman, Joe Ekins. He lets him keep the results of 2 dice when using the semi-indirect fire rule to reroll when shooting, which is a nice ability to have. Basically, when you're using that British ability to save your best die, reroll the rest, you get to save 2. He's only 3 points too, which is nice. For our generic upgrades, we have Superb Commander, Resourceful Loader, Supercharger, and then last we have the Super Velocity Shot. Gives you a +2 to your damage, but you only hit on a 5 or 6. 4s count as a miss. Can be used in combination with our hero in here, as well as the British tank's ability, though, to re-roll that semi-indirect fire. This can only be used on a Comet and a Firefly, though, so keep that in mind. And just a quick look here at the completed Firefly. Again, sad that you can't use both turrets. I actually have the Sherman turrets off my American tanks, and they can be swapped out. So I can use it as a standard Sherman. It just looks kind of funny, especially once they're painted, because they're probably not going to be the same colors anyway. But really wish that it came with that extra bottom turret piece like the normal Shermans do, so that you could use both. Other than that, though, it's a nice little tank. Good model. It's about the exact same size as the American Sherman. I think it's the same kit, just molded in different plastic. There's a little bit of difference there in the front glacial plating, as well as some of the design features. You have the vents on the back, so it is a different model. But overall, pretty nice little tank. Overall, it's a nice little tank. Definitely one of the better that I've seen. I know British have some higher end tanks. I only bought a handful to get myself started. Have a couple Fireflies here and a Cromwell. The Firefly is definitely the better of the two, I think. Cromwell might be a little bit more durable. It's definitely quicker, which allows it to get around behind, where these are a bit slower, but they make up for it with the bigger guns. Overall, they're a really nice tank. You can play them as the Sherman for the lower points cost and swarm them. You can play them as the Firefly for that little extra firepower. Upgrades that come with them are pretty nice. Joe makes good use of the British indirect fire rule, letting you keep those 2 dice, while the super velocity shots up that damage at the cost of accuracy, because you can only hit on the 5 or 6 there. Overall, though, it's a nice tank. Definitely a good addition if you're looking to play British. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for a look at the Sherman Firefly from Gale Force 9. And thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.